Hey everyone, Ronin here, and welcome back to part 3 of What If I Wrote the Pokemon Anime. But before we get into today's part, I'm going to need you guys to take a look at this analytical stat bar right here. You already know the drill. Hit the subscribe button, turn on notifications, and drop a like, so that way it'll help fuel the algorithm. And don't forget to watch the whole way to the end. But anyway, without further ado, let's get into What If I Wrote the Pokemon Anime, part 3. I hope you enjoy. We pick up today's episode in the heart of the mountains outside of Radiant City. This is the base of Team Rocket. It's here we find ourselves inside with a trio of Jessi, James, and Meowth. They have been summoned by the leader of the evil organization. While they walk down the corridor full of rocket grunts, Jessi and James are in a mid-argument about the catch James made. "How dare you make my catch," the feisty redhead yells. "That Sparrow was mine, and you know it." "But Jessi, Ekans was going to eat Sparrow, and you were just attacking it mindlessly." "That doesn't matter. It was mine, so hand it over," she says, holding out her hand. James tries to plead his case, stating her behavior was absurd, and she shouldn't have acted like that. The two stop, ready to get in physical over the subject, but they are met with a fury swipes to the face as Meowth tells them to quiet down. Remember, he's in charge, and they are about to see the boss, so do as the Scratch Cat says, or there will be penalties. The two look at the feline they are about to skin alive, for it thinking they would take orders from it. That is, until Matori, the boss's assistant, opens the door they stand in front of. "You're late," the secretary scolds, and he's not happy. The comment causes the three to clench up as they meekly slink inside the room as Matori demands they follow her. Once inside the office, their leader, Giovanni, is on a phone call with a strange man, someone that seems to be important as the boss Rocket addresses him with what seems to be respect in his voice. They arrive just as the call is cut off. "Don't worry, Dr. Fuji, we will get what you need." As the screen goes blank, Matori announces the arrival of the three Giovanni summons. Turning, the stoic leader of Team Rocket dismisses Matori. As she leaves, Jessi and James give her a look, almost to say, "Don't leave us alone." But this is cut short when Giovanni addresses Meowth. "Have these idiots given you any trouble?" It's here the Rocket humans see a side of Meowth they have yet to notice, as they have only been under his leadership for the last couple of weeks. The cat turns soft, brown-nosing the boss, claiming that he's gotten them to fall in line. He will whip them into shape for the good of Team Rocket. This comment triggers Jessi. Who does this nothing think he is? This causes an outburst from the redhead, to which James quickly holds her back. A loom of panic crosses Meowth's face. No, she's going to ruin everything, he thinks. However, Giovanni says nothing to the shock of the cat. Then, the reason why becomes known. A fierce growl interrupts the outburst, as from a shadow of the office, a large feline emerges. Meowth's look changes from one of panic to heartbreak. Hiding the tears in his eyes, Meowth faces the boss, as this Pokemon, Persian, joins his side. "Quiet," the leader yells. "I shouldn't have to remind you two about your debt that you owe." This shuts the two arguing Rockets up. "You lost my son," Gio says in a raised voice. "For that, I own you until the day you die. So, if you want to make that happen sooner than later, please continue on your current path." This sends a shiver down the spine of the three as they freeze in place. "Good. Now you three are the most useless of all who work for me. So, I have a task that needs to be done that requires people with your lack of skill. The gym in Viridian City. The leader seems to have closed it for the time being. So, I need you three to go there and access the former underground base. There is some sensitive data on the main drive of the systems that I need you to retrieve." With a smirk, Gio says retrieving that is funny, considering the hound hour you three are. "Now, get out of my sight before I decide to terminate your contracts early." With a gulp, the three leave in a hasty retreat. Once outside the boss's sight, the group is met with Matori. Too afraid to talk, the group just listens as she explains that when they had to leave the gym, there was an encryption lock that was used to seal the door to the underground base, so they will need this code. Now, it is very important that you get it in and out within 10 minutes, or the security systems will reactivate and seal off the base from inside. Once that happens, there is nothing anyone can do. Any questions? It's here that James finally gets up the courage to speak. "So, to do this, we will need some funds, as it's been a while since we've had any type of budget." Matori reminds him that he's lucky Giovanni still allows him to breathe. They will complete this mission with the supplies they already have. Jessi chimes in enraged, asking how they expect them to do their jobs without money. With a stern look, Matori reminds the redhead that they are given a budget based upon the profits they generate. "And how long has it been since you guys have brought anything worth value?" This pisses Jessi off, and she begins to attack Matori, who pulls out an ace. "Let's not forget about the balloon you guys destroyed. I haven't informed the boss of this. but I'm about to meet with him, so I'll put it at the top of my list. Meowth quickly stops Jessie, telling her it won't be necessary to do that. They will be back soon with the data. The trio then scampers off out of sight of anyone with authority. As they leave, a woman with a look of fury on her face walks into the boss's office. The trio quickly scampers off as the sound of the woman's scorn can be heard. It's here that Jessie and James begin to taunt Meowth for the way he acted around the boss and his new pet, to which Meowth orders them to stop. Unfortunately for the cat, the teasing continues as they set off for their mission. Now we pick up with the hero of our story, Ash. He finds himself at the Pokemon Center in Viridian City. He is just arriving after his near-death experience with the flock of Spearow. Looking very disheveled, Ash enters the hospital looking for any help that he can get. Unfortunately, what he finds is the last thing he ever wanted. At the counter, talking with the Pokemon that assists the proprietor of the establishment is Ash's lifelong rival. Ash wants nothing to do with the Oak Boy, but has no choice, interrupting Gary as he complains about the city's lazy gym leader and the closure of the gym. Turning, Gary can't believe his eyes. Ashy boy, he teases. You actually made it this far? However, his expression quickly changes when the boy notices the Pikachu in Ash's arms. Is that? But Gary is cut off when a young woman enters the room. What have you done? She scolds the two. But However, Ash can't say anything as the lady, who Gary addresses as Nurse Joy when he does his best to pass the blame of the condition to Pikachu to Ash, but she just ignores Gary, telling her assistant Chansey to hurry. They have no time to waste. Ash tries to inquire about what they are going to do with the starter, only for the two to disappear behind a door. Ash begins to panic, only for Gary to start teasing again. Don't you know anything? Nurse Joy is going to fix that train wreck of a Pokemon you have there. This triggers Ash, who demands to know what Gary means by train wrecker. The Oak doesn't hold anything back, telling Ash he knows he got that Pikachu from his grandpa. Every trainer that has tried to take it as a starter eventually returns it. That rat refuses to take commands, so a Pokemon that won't obey its trainer is useless, especially to a trainer that's just starting out. Face it, you won't make it outside of the city. Take that back, Ash yells. Sure, Pikachu is a bit difficult, but that doesn't mean I'm going to give up on it. Whatever you say, Ashy boy. At least tell me you've caught another Pokemon besides that Pikachu. No, not yet. Well, you're behind, then Gary says as he releases a Pokemon. Pulling out his Pokédex, Ash learns that this Pokemon is known as a Nidoran male. Nidoran male, Ash questions. Yep, Gary says. I caught this tough guy yesterday, just outside the city. He is part of the pair. Word is the female of the species lives around the same area that I caught this one in. So tomorrow, before I leave this backwoods lazy gym town, I'm going to go get one. Then I'll have 2 more Pokemon than you. The gym comment gets Ash's attention, to which he asks Gary what he means. It is at this point Gary turns. Sheesh, Ash, don't you know anything? I can't be a trainer for both of us. Gary then walks off, ignoring Ash and his barrage of questions and insults. Once out of sight, Ash's mind turns to the concern for Pikachu. He hopes it's okay. However, this worried mind is quickly interrupted when a screeching of a banshee can be heard from the door of the Pokemon Center. You! Ash turns only to see what could be the herald of his departure from this world, the redhead he stole the bike from. She storms to Ash, demanding that he fix this now, as she presents him with her charboiled set of wheels. Oh, hey, Ash says. I'm glad you found your bike where I left it, he says meekly. Now with fire in her eyes, the redhead prepares to end this lousy thief. That is, until she notices something. Hey, where's your Pikachu? The lady with pink hair took it in the back. I'm not really sure after that. Oh, so Nurse Joy has it? Yeah, Ash says, with a look of worried plastered across his face. Knowing there is a time and a place for everything, Misty decides to retract her complaint about this thief for the time being. You know, you look hungry. You should get some food. Ash says he isn't hungry, only for his stomach to rumble. With a sigh, Misty grabs his hand. Come with me, she demands. About an hour later, we find the two in the eating area. The two have become formally acquainted, learning a little bit about each other's stories. It's here that Ash tells Misty he's sorry for stealing her bike, but he had no choice. She understands why, but tells Ash he's going to pay her back. This triggers Ash, causing him to choke on his food that he was swallowing. But I can't. I don't have any money. Well, you're going to have to find a way, cause you owe me. Okay, Ash says, just get off my case. This calms Misty for a moment, allowing Ash to ask her something about what Gary said. What's a Pokemon gym? Wow, this kid is really clueless, Misty thinks to herself. With a sigh, Misty explains about the Pokemon League and how you need 8 badges to enter. It's the ultimate test for Pokemon trainers. This town even has one. This causes a smile to adorn Ash's face. Gary is trying for this Pokemon Pokemon League, so he's going to as well, and he'll show Gary who's the better trainer. It will be him and Pikachu standing above all others. This leads Ash into a daydream that Misty has to call him back from as he is being called by Nurse Joy. Realizing he can finally see Pikachu, Ash bolts from the table, spilling his food in the process, causing Misty to growl under her breath. Moments later, Ash is at the counter asking for his Pokemon. However, this is met with another tongue lashing from the nurse on how to care for his Pokemon. Ash apologizes, explaining the events of the day. Joy sighs. Well, don't be so reckless. Next time, it could be worse. Yes, ma'am, Ash yells, followed by a request to see his Pikachu. With a sigh, Joy asks Chansey to see him in, but warns to be careful. Pikachu needs its rest in order to recover. Ash nods as he is led into the back. Ash finds himself at the bedside of the electric mouse, talking to it, telling it he's sorry. He should have been more cautious. When Pikachu recovers, Ash will never force it to do anything it doesn't want to do again. This causes it to briefly wake, looking into Ash's eyes. What it sees is tears, something no human has ever shed for it. This softens Pikachu's exterior a bit as it rubs its paw on Ash's finger, only for it to pass out again. Ash knows it needs its rest, so he just sits, quiet, waiting for his starter. From the other side of the room, just out of sight, Misty stands, listening to what was just said. Well, he does care for Pokemon, so he can't be all bad, she thinks, as the night fades on. The next morning, Misty awakens in her room. She feels like a lot of the rage from the prior day has subsided, and is thinking about telling Ash not to worry about her bike. She knows mistakes happen, but when she gets to his room, Ash is nowhere to be found, but Pikachu is still asleep in the bed. Wondering where Ash is, Misty begins to search the center, to no avail. Now furious, Misty can't believe she fell for his lies, just for him to abandon Pikachu. Grabbing her things, Misty storms out of the center to find him, only for Nurse Joy to ask where she is going. Now seeing fire, Misty tells the nurse she's going to go find that no-good rotten trainer and drag him back so Pikachu can get its revenge. Unfortunately, before Joy can say anything, Misty is gone. Dear me, I hope she comes back so I can give her the message that he left for her. Now we find ourselves just west of the city. You see, even though Pikachu is still recovering, Ash won't let Gary get ahead of him. So at dawn, Ash was up. After asking Nurse Joy where the best spot to catch Pokemon outside of the city was, Ash set out. Much to the behest of the nurse, she points him to the west, urging Ash to wait until Pikachu is better, as catching Pokemon without battling it would be the dumbest thing he could possibly do. But Ash won't listen, giving her the message from Misty and heading off. Now he's found himself in a very rough path. It's a mixture of rocky terrain and grassland, perfect for catching Pokemon. Ash begins his search, desperately trying to find anything. He finds a few different ones. First, an angry Mankey that he fails to catch when the ball just hits it in the face. Once he's cleared that threat, Ash finds another Rattata that just escapes. Then another Pidgey. Now frustrated, Ash is considering giving up on this quest. That is, until he hears a skirmish off in the distance. Not willing to give up quite yet, Ash darts in that direction, thinking that could be the Pokemon he's been seeking. After what seems like forever, Ash finds himself nearing the sound. Peering through the trees, Ash sees a familiar face. Gary, Ash says. This distracts the young oak from a Pokemon that he was battling, only for it to attempt to escape. Ash, the oak boy says, a bit stupefied. Then he realizes what's happening. Gary orders his Nidoran to use Double Kick. The attack misses as the target of its aggression escapes around a corner. Ash, look what you did. I was so close. It took me all morning to find that female Nidoran. Now I have to go find it again. I'm sorry, Ash says. I didn't mean to. Well, you did. Stop trying to bring me down to your level, Gary says. This triggers Ash, who begins to argue with Gary, while Nidoran just watches. The two seem to ignore everything else, even Nidoran when it takes a defensive stance. It's not till a cry from Nidoran is heard that the two stop. There before them stands a Pokemon, who appears not too very happy with these humans that seem to have stumbled into its territory. The Pokemon that stands before them is identified by Gary, a Sandslash. Before they can even make a move, the ground type is on the attack. It begins by attacking Ash and Gary. This causes two things. Ash runs off to avoid a Pokemon that high level. The last thing he hears is Gary commanding Nidoran to stand up. They have a battle to win. After a while, and out of breath, Ash finally stops. He is panting heavily, but thinks he's finally clear of that life-threatening event. That is, until he hears some rustling in the bushes next to him. Ash flinches in fear. Oh no, he thinks. But his fear is quickly replaced with concern when out of the bush falls an injured Pokemon. Pulling out his Pokédex, he learns that this is a female Nidoran that Gary was after. Then he notices it's hurt. This must have been the Pokemon Gary was battling before Ash showed up. Well, Ash says, don't worry. I won't hurt you, as he reaches out to pet the little mon. This is where Nidoran flinches as its little horn swells a bit. The Pokédex triggers here, informing Ash that while smaller, the female poison is 10 times more potent than the males, so if they feel threatened, then they will attack. Ash pulls back a bit, telling it that there's nothing to fear. He won't hurt it. Heck, he doesn't even have a Pokemon to battle it with. This causes the Nidoran to ease up a bit. Ash reaches out for it once more, but the poison type swells again. Ash flinches once more, but it's quickly evident that it's not him, but what's behind him that is the real threat. Now we find ourselves with Misty. Thinking she knows where Ash is, she finds herself at the Viridian Gym. It would be just like him to challenge a gym without a Pokemon. However, what she finds is a building that is closed, locked up tighter than a prison. Now stumped, Misty begins to think about where else Ash could be. Then she notices something. On the roof, there appears to be movement. It figures he would try to go in through there. Well, you're not getting away from me, she thinks, as the redhead runs off to the back of the gym. Back with Ash, he turns to be met with another Sandslash. It seems to belong with the other one that attacked Gary. They must be a group that lives in this area. Not wanting to become a Pokekebab, Ash slowly backs away, assuring the ground type he means it no harm, so he will be leaving. While Ash appears to be in the clear as Sandslash makes no movement at him, it's another story for Nidoran as it tries to move, but it's unable to. Seeing this as an attack on its territory, Sandslash attacks back. While Ash can't stand up to it, he can protect Nidoran. Without thinking, Ash throws a ball that captures Nidoran. This infuriates Sandslash, sending it on an attack against our hero. Knowing he needs to get out of here, Ash dodges the best he can, maneuvering around until he is able to pick up the ball. Then his plan for action takes effect. Run as fast and as far as he can. Back with Misty, she is trying to find her way into the gym, but there seems to be no way in. As she is at the back of the gym, she has triggered interest in the locals as they have contacted the authorities. The local officer Jenny confronts the redhead, grilling Misty about her suspicious activity. Once Misty reveals that she's a Pokemon trainer looking for one of her friends, Jenny decides to let her off with a warning, though Misty may want to leave town before she changes her mind. Misty eagerly exits stage left, heading back to the Pokemon Center, now furious that Ash has gotten her in trouble with the law. If her sisters find out, no, she can't think about that right now, as Misty enters the Pokemon Center. Much to her surprise, there stands Ash at the counter talking with Nurse Joy. Misty storms up to him, tearing him a new one. Ash has no idea what she is talking about, to which Misty yells some more. Fortunately for Ash, Joy interrupts, telling Misty about this morning and how Ash had left her a message, but she left before Joy could give it to her. Now quiet, Misty is at a loss for words, to which Ash tells her that she really shouldn't assume things. He intends to pay her back for her bike, but he needs to get stronger as a trainer first. In order to do that, he needs more Pokemon, to which he presents a Pokeball. Wait, you went into the wild and caught a Pokemon without weakening it first? Ash tries to play it off, like he has more skill than he actually does. This is interrupted when Gary enters the room. That's a great lie, Ash. If only there was some truth to it. This triggers Ash, as Misty watches him become angrier than she's ever seen him before. The two rivals begin to argue. Wanting to prove Gary wrong, Ash sends in his first capture, Nidoran. However, this angers Gary even more, as he confronts the boy about catching the Pokemon that he had battled and weakened. This gets a stern look from Misty, to which Ash clenches up. Gary then demands that Ash give him Nidoran, to which it hides behind Ash, clearly not wanting to go with Gary. Not liking this, Gary demands once again, only to be stopped by Nurse Joy. Look, Gary, she doesn't want to go with you. Nidoran is scared. It's clearly chosen Ash as its trainer. With everyone against him, Gary relents. Fine, I ain't made out better than you anyway, the young oak declares, as he sends in his newly caught Sandslash and his newly evolved Nidorino. Ash's jaw drops, to which Gary smirks. See, always second best. Now that he's done showing off, Gary asks Joy to look at his Pokemon. He has to move on in the morning, so his Pokemon need to be in top shape. Sure, as long as there's no more fighting, she says. With that, Gary heads to his room. Ash also does the same, as he is joined by Misty. After a while, Pikachu finally wakes up, only to see Ash smiling. Hey buddy, you gave me a scare. I want you to meet a new friend. Now we find ourselves deep in the Viridian Gym. Jessie and James are looking around while Meowth does his thing. The two comment that the gym has changed a lot. It doesn't seem to resemble a ground type gym anymore. Jessie says, yeah, that huge retractable opening in the roof. What's with that, James seconds. But this senseless babble is interrupted when Meowth tells them to quiet down. He's found it. On the screen before them reads Project Origin. And that, my friends, is where we're going to leave this part today. So, with part 3 out of the way, I have some questions. What do you guys think about Ash's first catch? What do you think about Gary and his team so far? What kind of gym do you think the Viridian gym is now? And what information was so important that Giovanni had to have it from his former base of operations? Let me know in the comments down below. Alright trainers, I hope you have your Pokédex ready, because today we met Sandslash, Nidoran Female, Nidoran Male, Nidorino, Persian, Mankey, and Chansey. I want to thank you all for watching the video all the way to the end, and I hope you return for a future video. But with all that being said, don't forget to hop onto my Discord if you guys want to check out other content creators or if you want help making your own content. Follow me on Twitter and you may get the opportunity to see some behind the scenes that I'm working on. Also, if you want to help support the channel further, considering become a patron or a YouTube channel member. For only $5 a month, you're going to get up to a week's early access to all of my videos, and on any tier, you'll also get the exclusive content that I'm putting out on those two platforms, which is what if I wrote the Pokemon anime. But with all that being said, it's time to sign out the video the best way we know how, by thanking the sponsors, the YouTube channel members, and the patrons. For the patrons, we have Silver Heart Soul, Robert, Andrew McCartney, Holosif, Julian Rodriguez, Ruben Watson, Lord Explosion Murder, Flyer 943, Kevin Atran, Drax, Truevolt, Adrian Carr, Dino King, Fox King, Warney Taylor, Plus Ultraman, Megar, Kendall Green, Earth Dragon, John Larson, Dylan Nicholson, Christopher Grant, Gerald Smith, Normandy 1998, Chris Lackman, Trainer Rad 164, Rowboat, Johnny, Brad 1, Ifosa Mead, Indigo Saturn 64, Kevin Malula, Chris Collins, Christian Anderson, Justin Ray, Gray Leo, Irving 14209, Dylan Wolfdog 31, Mario Pikachu, Luke Skyrunner, Flubber, JJ, Josiah Herring, Gear 100, Cameron Dicker, Blood Down, Jack, and Cami Stein. And for the YouTube channel members, we have Brian Skidmore, Hira Karina, and Nathan Zaduro. Thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.